Eskimo Ice Fishing Gear has announced their new 2024-2025 ice fishing season gear. I have no affiliation with any of the ice fishing gear brands. I'll have links to everything down below in the description after. And as always, my links, I try to link up some of the best retailers to purchase from that have the best prices. So if you're ever interested in finding the best prices out there, click on the links that I have down in the description. 22 new products we're going to talk about tonight. 2 new hub shelter shacks from Eskimo this year. We've got the QuickFish 3 HD. This is a insulated pop-up portable shelter. Take a look at the size of this. It is comparable in size to the 3i. You're looking at 45 square feet fishable area. It is the IQ insulated quilted fabric. They say 3-person capacity. I think it's great for 2 people. If you get 3 or more, you're going to want to go up in size. We're super lightweight. I was carrying this thing around on the ice last year at the end of the ice season. I was just checking it out. They're talking about here is it has the full door on it. Number 2, one thing that nobody really talks about, which is actually on the back of it, is this back triangle door. And I talked about it in the video that I shot the end of last season, is this back triangle door. I don't know if they call it a triangle door, a D door, or whatever they call it, but the height of the opening is actually bigger in this than in the old 3i series of the QuickFish, because those would actually curve in. So you're actually going to get a little bit more height, less tripping hazard in head height going in and out of that back. So that's pretty nice. You've got, of course, the bright gray interior. So like during the daytime, honestly, with the 4 little windows that are in it, you have those things opened up. You don't need a light during the day. And I would even argue, I do filming in it. And typically when you're filming, you want extra light. You don't even need that. And especially if you have one of the doors cracked. One of the things that I really like about the way that Eskimo has their no trip doors is just that. It is no trip. I really love the fact that there is no skirt down there, nothing at all to trip over, and makes it really easy to move in and out. You can stake this down right outside on the flaps. And then, of course, you've got your support poles that you can see here in the photo. So your door is not going to go flying open on you or spread. And plus, if you're worried about wind, if you have it zipped shut, it's going to keep the fabric really tight on it. So you don't really need to worry about that. And if you want to have it really insulated during the nighttime, because you're maybe ice camping in one of these guys, because we're going to talk about the 6 HD in a second, you can just leave this door shut. You can bank it in from the outside and then just go in that triangle door in the back for night. That way you can have it super well insulated if you want to as well. So the 6 HD is your double hub size. It's still skinny, right? It's not extra wide, but it is extra long. So what they advertise in this one right here is a 6-person capacity. I think 6 people would be really tight with this. I would probably say 5 is all you're going to want to do. But definitely once you get to 3, this is going to be a really good one. Up to probably 5 is what I would say. 71 square foot fishable area, IQ insulated fabric, and it's only 62 pounds. Remember the 3 HD we just looked at, I believe was 41 pounds. So this is only adding 21 pounds and you're almost doubling the fishable area with the no trip door that zips completely open from the ice level. And as the QuickFish suggests, its pop-up hub walls and roof allow for setup in less than 60 seconds. Packs down small. They have the self-tapping ice anchors included. Of course, the grommets in the skirt, mesh storage pockets on the inside. These ones are the removable window panels, which are just Velcroed on, which is nice for extra ventilation, being able to pass things in and out. All right, next up, I think this is the biggest product that Eskimo has launched this year, and that is the pistol bit. This is the Pistol Bit 2.0. So a few things that I want to call out here that are new about this. If you've used the Pistol Bit before, I had not up until before last year when I was trying out the comparison between the 2.0 and the 1.0, I'm going to call it, or the OG Pistol Bit. That Pistol Bit rips, right? Well, the Pistol Bit 2.0 rips even faster. So number 1, you do get a quicker cut. But number 2, it's also, they have the turbo cutting blades on this. And so what that's going to allow you to do is have a sharper cutting edge, and the geometry of the blades and of the head are actually going to put less burden on your drill. So if you think about the amount of torque, like if you've ever used a K drill before, you know that thing will rip your wrist off if you catch something and you're not expecting it, especially if you're not using that side handle. These are intended to put less stress on that chuck of your drill. You should definitely still use the handle for safety reasons and stability reasons and getting that straight hole. But this is going to be easier on your drill and it's going to cut faster as well. It is roughly the same weight as the 1.0. It's the same height. But what is different is this one comes in an 8-inch and a 10-inch, whereas the pistol bit 1.0 came in a 6 and an 8. And that was because the geometry of the head plus the blades that they had on the 1.0, it would be too much for a 10-inch to go onto a drill. Well, now, because of the upgraded design, kind of taking a lot of the learnings that they have from the Ion brand, a lot of learnings that they had from the E40 when they designed that, they've been now able to make the first purpose-built drill auger that's a 10-inch. So I'm pretty excited about that. I am planning on picking up the 8-inch this year. I think this is going to be my running gun setup. See the top of it here? It's already designed for their quick connect fitting. So what that means is this can actually slide into their quick connect coupler, but it can also just be, you can use a drill and put it in the chuck of your drill. So you don't need a special adapter for it. But if you did want to get, and then you've got the typical, hard plastic bottom with the kind of stretchy elastic band on there. And then they show you here what the blade compatibility is and then which augers it works with. One other thing that's interesting to know is that this pistol bit 2.0 will actually go on to the E40 power head if you wanted to. It's not going to work exactly the same as the flights that are intended for the E40, but you can hook it up to it if you were. This thing right here is to me, one of the most critical parts is in the center here. It's the centering point. This is super critical because when you put the auger down on the ice, I don't care if you're using an auger head or you're using a drill, this is critical so your auger doesn't go kind of like twisting around on the ice. It points it in kind of like a drill bit and it makes sure it goes straight down and it's not going to move around on you. It's not going to hit your boot. It's not going to go squirrel into the right or to the left until it can start making a hole. This keeps it in place. They have a safety recovery plate, includes polymer top plate that is wider than the diameter. This plastic top is bigger than the auger flight. So that way, if it drops off the chuck of your drill, it can't fall down the hole because that's going to be bigger than the hole that it drilled, which is absolutely awesome. This to me is the best design. It's better than the foam float and it's better than having like a bar out the side or anything like that. So I'm really pleased with the way that they did that. Men's Superior jacket. So this is new this year. So they have the upgraded Superior suit. So they have the jacket and the bibs that are new. The biggest thing that I would say is they redesigned it a little bit in terms of where pockets are. But the biggest thing that I would talk about here is the DuraDry stretch fabric. It's lightweight, tough, durable, mechanical stretch fabric, allowing for maximum flexibility and comfort. Here, I'll explain it to you. You can kind of see just based off of the look of the fabric here. So it is like a waterproof, water repellent type material, but like it has kind of like my shirt. Like if you look at my shirt, I can stretch it a little bit. That's what this material does as well. So you can imagine if you've got a big hoodie on underneath, if you're bending over, you know how sometimes when you bend over, if you pull your arms together, it kind of stretches across your back shoulder blades, the crotch of your bibs. If you kneel down and have one leg up, one leg down, how it gets tight in the fabric in that inseam area, it has a mechanical stretch, which is awesome. It's not just like this hard, rigid, it's taut, it's not, it's taut, it's not. And it's either like loose and wrinkly or it's taut. This stays really nice and that helps it be a little bit more form-fitting and it's not as bulky and loose and you're going to catch it on things. That's the biggest thing that I like about it. It does have that removable liner jacket, which I highly recommend. That liner jacket is freaking awesome. Like I said, I wear this thing just as a jacket, just to toss on when I'm hopping in and out of the truck, when I'm like going to the grocery store, just running around town. It's 15K waterproof breathable rating. So that's the outer shell that we were just talking about there, which is good to know. And it's got an adjustable packable hood that you can, of course, pack up, that you can kind of see how it's out of the way here. It's got several functional pockets for warming hands and storing gear. And it's got YKK zippers and taped seams. The men's superior bibs, they upgraded. And so again, that stretch fabric is the primary thing that we're talking about here. But then they do have a removable liner that is 80 grams of the 3M Thinsulate that we can see right here. So it's got that removable liner that if you didn't want it in there and it's not super cold out, you can always pull that liner out, which is great. You've got the foam pads for the knees, which are great. You can remove them. You can add to them. There's some adjustability there as well. And they do have size charts for these things. Well, here is one of the big ones. In talking to the guys at Eskimo, they said they think this is going to be the most popular product that's being released in terms of the E-Hub accessories, and that is the new shelter light. It comes with a dimmer switch, and it comes with either a USB jack or black and red, positive and negative for your 12-volt battery. So a couple different lengths of cables in order to, no matter how long you need it to go, you're going to be able to hook that up, and then some Velcro for attaching and hanging from. It's also got the, of course, the E-Hub part of it, which you can mount to pretty much anything via screws, via Velcro, via a lot of different options that you have. Or if you already have some of the E-Hub system, you can go ahead and use one of the hubs that you already have. So this is pretty great. It's supposedly incredibly bright. So a lot of times what they were saying is in a smaller hub house, probably like that 3HD, most of the time they actually had to turn it down. I did not get to see this in person last year. It was still being manufactured, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty awesome. And it's all LEDs inside of it too. So it's low amp draw as well, which is great. Like, look how bright that is. E-Hub dead stick holder. So this is another one of their new accessories, which I think is pretty cool. Of course, it works with the E-Hub system. What's great about it is there's a few different ways that it can work. You can either have it sticking out, so it could be mounted to a bucket, you could mount it to the hub, you could mount it to the side of an ice fishing house, the sled of your ice fishing sled. And what's great is you can just drop the handle down in there and it's gonna fit really nicely with it. The other thing that you can do is you can tilt it further down, and it's got the notches in here. So that way the real handle will actually fall into one of those pockets. It's actually going to hold it in there. So that way it can't just pull straight out, which is pretty awesome. It looks like it has 5 different usage angles in terms of the angles that you have. Now let's go to the next one of the accessories. We've got the E-Hub cup holder. Pretty self-explanatory. It looks like you can this looks like, one of the Yetis that can fit in there in terms of the space. It includes 2 different mounting adapters, perpendicular option for flat and an angled option. So you'll see here the flat option. So this is if you're going to be putting on something that's straight vertical. If you have something that's angled, as an example, a hub house, the walls are angled. If you did not know, you would not want to use the flat one in a hub house. You would want to use the angled adapter because your hub house wall is going to be like this. If you put the flat one on, your cup holder is going to be in an angle. Whereas if you put the angled adapter on the back, it will actually sit flat. So your cup, your drink, whatever you have in there will actually sit level to the ground. E-Hub flip shelter base. So one of the things that people had been asking for a while, right? Because you've got these hub mounting accessories, right? So you've got these brackets that screw into or mount to the hubs in hub houses, screw into walls, those types of things on the vertical things. Well, one of the things people were asking for was, how can I use these accessories in my flip over shacks, right? And Eskimo said, we got a solution for you. And so they're introducing, it's a 2-pack for $14.99. So the way that these work is just as you'd imagine, you put the Velcro around the bar, and then you now have a sturdy mounting point for any of the E-Hub accessories, which is pretty awesome. You can put them not only on the poles inside of your flip over shelter, but you can also put them on tow bar. So just as an example, you know how if you have a flip over sled and then you have the tow bracket for it, it fits on that bar as well. Of course, you can imagine a lot of different things that you can strap this around. The hard plastic on here is molded in a way to work best around the flip over style shelters from Eskimo, but you can kind of play around with it and probably use it on a large variety of different things. The E-Hub bucket base. So we were just talking about how they have the flat one, they have the angled one, and then they now have the one that goes around the pole. Well, you'll see here, these ones have a slight curve to them. That curve is the perfect curve to fit the curve of a 5-6 gallon bucket that you may have. And what they said is you don't put screws in it. All you do is you drill the hole that's inside of it, right? Because these have holes in it. Put it on the bucket, drill a hole through there, drill a hole next to it, put a zip tie on there, and that thing is snug. It will not move. It's not moving around. It is super tight. So if you are the type of fisherman that likes to fish outside with a 5-gallon bucket, 6-gallon bucket, these bucket bases may be just right for you. And again, at a really good price here, only $9.99. So that way you can use all your E-Hub accessories, rattle reel, the dead stick holder would be great for this. A cup holder would be great here. You can use all of them right there. You could use the camera mount, this 1/4 mount right here with the snake arm on it. That's a 1/4 screw on there. So like if you add like a GoPro, if you had an Aquaview or a Mark, anything like that, you can actually just screw them right on to that. That's the right size thread. So you can actually mount your camera right there. You like your underwater camera if you wanted to, and be able to have that up off the ice too. Hole hopper gloves. It's a durable pair of gloves that do exactly what they're supposed to. They're warm, comfortable, and low in bulk. I have not tried these on my hands yet, but I definitely will. I have so many gloves, it would be ridiculous for me to buy another pair, but this is a set that I have my eye on. I'm always looking for a lightweight pair that actually does a really nice job keeping my hands warm. Of course, they're not going to be the warmest gloves in the world because they're designed to be kind of that middle weight or lighter weight. But the one thing that I do like about it is it does have the 5K waterproof breathable glove insert inside of it as well. So the idea here is that you should be able to dip it in the snow, pull some of the slush out of the water. And from my understanding, your hands shouldn't get wet. The outside of the glove will get wet, but not the inside of it. 150 grams of 3M Thinsulate on the back and 100 on the palm. Next, kind of staying in line with gloves, they've got two more here. They've got the hole hopper mitts. So just like the gloves, except even the same level of Thinsulate insulation, 150 on the back and 100 grams on the palm, except you've got your mitt versus your glove. You don't get the dexterity, but your fingers will stay warmer because they have the heat of each other right next to each other. Fingerless wool gloves. There's quite a few people that had said that they are interested. These are 85% wool, 15% acrylic blend knit. If you're the type of person that likes the wool gloves, need another pair, or interested in trying them out, these are only $14.99. The reason why wool, you may ask, that doesn't seem as comfortable as maybe like a cotton or a fleece or something like that, is because it is still made to be warm, even when it's wet. In wool, typically will dry out fairly fast as well. And it's not going to be like that cold fabric on your hand. It typically still retains heat decently well. All right, so we got through the gloves. Now, here's a couple of bags that they have. So they have the electric auger carry bag, and then they have the battery bag. So we're going to go look at each of these. So this is $85 for the electric auger carry bag. You can throw your auger in there. And then there's a bigger spot here for the power head. Throw it over your shoulder with the shoulder strap. It's got the full length zipper. You can see the reinforcement on the inside of it to really protect it. The pocket on the outside for any of your quick connect attachments or anything like that. 600 denier polyester fabric. And then they are the YKK zippers. It's sized and fits specifically to hold the Eskimo E40 electric augers. But I'm sure if you have a different type of auger, you could probably try to get it in there as well. One other cool thing that I see right here, just kind of looking at this, is it does have a slot here for your extension right on the bag itself. So you can throw an ice extension on there too. Battery bag, again, self-explanatory. If you want to keep your batteries warm, say you don't have a heated hub house or a flip over shack or a truck to keep them in, you're going to be hopping around outside quite a bit. It does help the battery life a ton by keeping them relatively warm. In the way that this bag is made, is that you can actually fit two 40-volt Eskimo auger batteries in here, one on each side. And then it actually has 4 interior mesh pockets that you could, if you wanted to, put hand warmers in. Put them in there for you to use for your hands, or put them in there already activated to help keep just a little bit of heat going in that bag too. It is an insulated bag. E40 Battery Charger. So they now are selling the standard inbox charger separately. $59.99. It provides a full charge to the E40 4-amp hour battery in 2 hours approximately. It is a 2-amp charger. So 4-amp, that kind of gets you there. Smart charging, it'll automatically turn off when the battery is fully charged. So if you want an extra charger, here you go. You can now buy it for $59.99. So the Nightbite hoodie and the retro buffalo plaid hoodie. This Nightbite hoodie looks pretty awesome. We're not gonna spend a ton of time on the apparel here. I like the logos. They always do a really nice job with their hoodies. Like they're not heavy, but like they're well made. Like they're really good quality. So if you're looking for a new hoodie, feel free to go check out either that hoodie or the buffalo plaid hoodie if that's more of your style. They've got the charcoal knit hat. This is your common knit hat that we're looking at here with that nice Eskimo logo on it. And it looks like it's got that kind of like gray, white color style to it, that kind of charcoal type of style to it, which looks pretty nice. If you're a knit hat person and need to replace one, or you really want one with that Eskimo logo on it, you can go ahead and do it. In my favorite Eskimo ball cap, baseball cap that they make, is called now the Primetime Cap. This actually came out last year. That's when I got this guy right here. This is this hat. I love this. So the logo on it is rubber, which is great. And then it's your typical Richardson 115 classic trucker style adjustable snapback cap. This is awesome. It's called the Primetime Cap because, yep, that's right. Primetime himself, Clayton Schick. This is the hat he wore like all year last year. He had one of these, and I think he wore it in more videos than he didn't. So Clayton Schick works with Eskimo, and so they named it after him, it looks like, which is pretty awesome. And then they've got the 1960 trucker style cap as well. So this is your buffalo plaid. You've got the embroidered logo for Eskimo ice fishing on it. You've got the black here, and it is still the Richardson 115 classic trucker style adjustable snapback hat. You can see this from another angle. This looks pretty sweet. Sometimes what they do at some of the ice shows I've noticed too is, yes, they maybe will put product on sale, like some of their hub houses, flip overs, augers, that type of thing. But then at other times what they do is they don't discount the product, meaning the hub house or the flip over. And what they'll do is they'll say you actually get a hat and a hoodie with it. That's kind of cool. So look out for some of those deals if you're looking for one of these and you're also thinking about getting one of their houses. Some of the ice shows, I don't know if they're going to have those types of deals this year, but it is something to look out for.